Hello and welcome to the Car Guy Coffee Podcast. This inner brew at Drive Centric's DC20 has been brought to you by our friends and partners at MXS Solutions, Fixed Ops Digital, M1 Data and Analytics, 321 Ignition, Shop Smart Autos, and VinQ. If you want more brews or you want to find out how to partner with the Car Guy Coffee Podcast, go to carguycoffee.com. Let's brew!
And hey, on that note of the mentor thing, I would just say to anybody listening, just look around you. Any interaction that you have with somebody, you can learn something from them. It doesn't need to mean they don't need to be like the biggest mentor in your life. I just try to learn a little something from everybody I meet. And
love that story.
I think that mentors can come in all shapes, sizes, and can be at any part of your peripheral vision. You don't have to go out and seek like some big league. Just learn something from someone.
Absolutely. And I love that you actually said that. Take a look around, especially for those of you that might say, you know what? I don't have a mentor. I don't have anybody. If you pay attention real quick, you're going to notice who is pouring into you. Who are you letting pour into you? Your mentors can also be the news that you let pour into you, the books that you're reading, right? The entertainment that you're paying attention to. What goes in eventually finds its way back out. And that's why it's so important that you do pay attention to those that are pouring into you. If it's the guy that always has a problem on the lot, the guy that's always having an issue with the manager, and you're giving entertainment to that, whether you know it or not, folks, that person's mentoring you and helping to shape your thinking. So I encourage you, do exactly what Troy said. Take a look around you. Pay attention to those that are around you. You're going to notice somebody is pouring in and something's coming out as a result of that. So be aware and be intentional about finding the right people, because man, not everybody is meant to pour into you, and you're not meant to be joined up with everybody, but those that are actually around you. It's a divine setup for your success. Understand that your success is that important, that the people are around you to help you go to the next level. And I think Russ Parr said it a lot. If you don't like the people around you, change the people around you.
Yeah.
On both sides, right? If you're not going to change them, then just change them. Make them different people, right? Be a different person yourself. But inside of that, with the good lessons, the bad lessons, the hard lessons, the easy ones, the great victories, the great businesses being built, all of those things. What is it that Troy has run into that has given him a good hit on the chin, maybe a solid slug in the gut, right, inside of his growth? What has been the hardest lesson that Troy has had to learn getting to this point in your career?
I'll start here because it's always fresh in my memory. I try never to forget it. The economic downturn of 2009 was really hard on me. I ended up going through a divorce and I lost just about everything, even though I was awesome at my job. I'm not being egotistical. I was just really good at it.
Absolutely.
I had a great job at that point, and then systematically I lost 60% of my income. Not because I was bad at the job, just the economy wasn't there and the numbers weren't there. And as hard as we pushed, a lot of people saw constriction at that point, and that constriction hit me really hard. I was just at a point where, I had a lot of expenses from the issues that I dealt with in life, and won't go into that, but Turbocharged Your Life talks about that a little bit in the book.
Okay.
And so at that point, I started Dealer World, this company now that has, between that and Dealer Funnel, 45 employees. And I started it with $65. And I've told that story a bunch of times, and it's getting old and it's not real super relevant. But when you ask me the hardest lesson I learned, I was 40 at the time ish. And I'm sitting at home with $65 to my name. And when I say that, I'm talking like that's it. There was nothing else. There was nowhere else to go. Okay, I've never really put it this way, so I give you some new content here. I'm standing outside of the Coinstar, and that's how I knew I had $65. I just taken all my change and cashed it in. My son was 4 at the time. Outside of Coinstar, there's a Cold Stone Creamery, and he wanted ice cream. So by the time I got done buying him ice cream, I had $61. And I was super mad because I love ice cream. So I didn't buy anything for myself because I thought I need gas money. I'm going to make the kids smile. So the lesson I learned at that moment.
Hey dealers, Car Guy Coffee Podcast and Certified Solutionaries are honored to be part of Team VinQ.
The solutions they've been brewing for you to acquire more vehicles, advertise merchandise, and manage those vehicles has made them one of the most sought-after dealer partners in the market. They are 100% CGC approved.
And when you visit them at VinQ.com,
You'll see a whole hill of beans worth of reasons why.
Team VinQ, let's brew!
You know, if you find yourself in any position, you don't have to be as down and out as I was. I was at the breaking point. I was at the worst of the worst. I'll just say it out loud. It is what it is. I'll be transparent. I was suicidal. It was horrible. It was just bad. So I think the lesson and the hardest lesson I learned in life was stop wallowing in self-pity. There was a moment, like a click moment, like an epiphany moment when I left that Cold Stone Creamery, like I'm done. I'm done losing. I'm done wallowing. I'm done being upset. I'm done being depressed. I'm like, this is going nowhere. The economy sucks, is what it is. Everybody's going through that. Look in the mirror and freaking do something about it. Be done with this shit. And it was an epiphany moment for me that changed my life, because from that point on, life just got better. I started looking at life as compounding interest. And I wrote about that in Turbocharge Your Life, I think. It was this cool thing. I thought, if I just start eating better, because I was eating like crap. There was a moment. Everybody has this moment. You could go this way or that way. It doesn't matter, everybody has that choice. I was so far gone at that point. Like I could have become, and no disrespect to anybody here, please understand this. I'm just being brutally honest. Yeah. Like I could have just started drugs or drinking, or I wasn't working out. I just wasn't doing a lot of things right. And so I was gaining weight, eating poorly. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't really drinking or drugs. I've never really been that guy, but I was depressed. So I was drinking a couple of beers right before I went to bed, just hoping the barley and hops would make me tired. But there was just a moment where I said, I think if I just start doing things right, it'll have the power of compounding interest.
Yes.
Like if I just work out, I'll feel a little better. And then I'll want to eat better, and then I'll look a little better, and then I'll have a little more energy, and so I think that lesson that I had at that moment, that epiphany, when I decided to start just doing everything as well and as good as I could and trust the process, paid off in massive dividends. And it was a hard lesson, but a great one.
Oh man,
bro,
you said so much right.
Thank you for sharing that with everyone. Because I think every one of us has been through a moment like that in our life, or may go through a moment like that in our life. It's
and you got to ask yourself at that moment, no matter what it is, it didn't have to be as far as I was. When literally, I was at the breaking point. That's what sucks. A little bit about what I'm writing in this new book is like, why do we have to wait for that click moment? Like, why do we have to wait for somebody to die of cancer and smoking or something for that to hit that next person and go, wow, I just lost my best friend from high school and maybe I should quit smoking? Like, why do we have to wait for these crazy moments, for epiphanies and click moments to happen? Why can't we force them? Why can't we look ahead and say, if I got that call, I would quit smoking? But you know what? That call's coming, because it is what it is. In that moment, I don't know why I had to go so far down that rabbit hole to the point of literally being suicidal before I had that click moment. But I'd like to teach people. I'd like to teach people that no matter what you're going through in life, like as soon as you feel like I'm going down the wrong path, like to force that click epiphany moment a little further ahead of when it would normally happen and change your life a little quicker.
100%.
I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but
it makes all the sense. That's you turning that role on that third question we asked you about mentorship. Now you're being that mentor through your experience. And I think that's what you just did. You just mentored a lot of people who are watching this right now, or people who watch it on the replay later, is understanding that even if you have 65, if you have zero money, nothing, and you think,
buddy, I had nothing. There was no retirement money. There was nothing else.
But what you had was ability still. And you have the ability, and you made the decision, fuck this. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I got to keep growing. And I'm not going to allow this environment that everyone's going through. And that's what I loved about what you said was during that time, everybody was going through. The whole United States had an economic issue. Automotive
it was horrific.
was crazy. So to understand that and know that, hey, it's not just you, wasn't your fault. It was just one of those things that happens. Don't get me wrong, especially when something like that, when it's not even your fault, makes it even feel worse a little bit at first. You're like, dude, I did everything right. But the
I remember I was like
crumbling.
at that point, I had a lot of employees that I was responsible for.
Yeah,
And
it's tough.
I remember saying to all of them, look, and I work for a pretty aggressive organization. So on a typical day before all that stuff hit, it would be like, I need better numbers. So let's go. You suck. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so I remember in those times, we all had a little bit more of a heart. And I would go around and I'd talk to people and try to mentor them before I left that job. And just talk to them, say, hey, look, it's not you. We didn't just all of a sudden wake up and suck at this. We're all still extremely talented at this. It's just not working quite like it used to. So we got to dig deep and get through this. And like I said, it wasn't that we woke up and sucked at it. The times just changed things.
Imagine being a real estate investor at that time. It was a crazy time. And before that crash, to buy things, especially a home, was a lot easier. And ever since then, it's really changed. We all had to adapt, and we do. And that's what we do. And you've proven that, and you've did that. And you said, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. Then we had this economic crash that just happened last year, and still somewhat going through the trickle effect of that. And yet you were able to do well, and you were able to stay positive and keep moving because of that first experience, and knowing that, hey,
I was quicker, right? I will say this. I was way quicker at what to do this time around.
Guarantee it.
So pivoting, we just pivoted like crazy.
And that's great. And you kept your head up.
I got too many different pivots and things to talk about. We don't have enough time for that. But I would say that we were really ahead of the game and smart about what we did and pivoted quickly. And, I'm proud to say that we went into COVID with 30 employees and we've got 45 now.
That's what I'm saying.
So we're up 50% in employment. We're not up 50% in profits. As a matter of fact, I might be down in profits, but the company's growing and we're doing a lot of things. We're setting the stage for what's to come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are.
But yeah, I think we did a lot of really smart things this time. And I think it's because I learned a lot that first time.
Hey, dealers, franchise and independent, we have some great news for you and your number one sales pro.
Your website. Partner with Team MXS, we have the ability to pull you out of that cookie cutter merry-go-round and help your website embody what it means
to do business with you. From the highest quality production to the most strategic optimization, we want to help you connect better to the ever-changing market.
We owe it to you and your team to at least let us do a quick
and free
checkup on your website. We can't wait to hear from you.
Go to teammxs.com. Back to the show.
And back in 09.
There's no doubt, because you lived through that first time. You made it. You didn't die. Your life was good. Your family has grown. You have grown. And in your business, you've created things. You've become a creator. And that's something that I absolutely love about you. And I'm so glad that you went through that lesson. I'm glad you only had that $65 to your name at that point, because who knows where you'd be today if that didn't happen, right?
No regrets, pal. You always look back and say, I was put in that position for a reason. I wouldn't be the man I am today if I didn't go through that.
There's no failures if you learn something from something that was a misfortune in the past, that is actually a benefit. That is something that is what was needed at that time. That was divine, man. And I
want to point to that.
I love that.
I want to point to a couple things that are inside of there, folks, because you may have missed it there, because it is a ugly woe is me moment where people often do fall off of the fence. They do fall onto the other side, where they end up picking up the bottle. They end up picking up the bottle of drugs, right? Or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, I was this close. I'm telling you right now.
And I can feel that. But I want to highlight a couple of the things that ended up happening. One, a byproduct of the decision that you started to make was actually going to benefit the overall goal to get healthier, right? You didn't have the next ice cream, right? So that ice cream didn't get in you, but he sacrificed, when he had $65 to his name, he sacrificed 4 of them that he probably needed, and they needed for more than an ice cream, but he sacrificed that to bring joy to the next generation. And I tend to look a little deeper.
Give before you take. I love that.
Right. But he took of that Coinstar dollars that came back out to him. He had $4, took some over there to bring joy, put joy on his face while he's petrified inside of his own heart, inside of his own spirit of what's next. How far am I going to go with the $61 and your ice cream that I'm jealous that you're eating that I can't have? He then said, you know what? That is the pivot. That is the moment. He unlocked something inside of him when he deposited something inside of the next generation wholeheartedly because of love. Son wasn't going to be able to pay him back for that or give him anything else. We knew that it was literally a melting object that's going to be away in a short amount of time. And it could seem fleeting. It could seem worthless, but you only had that moment with your son right then and there to bring joy to him. And you did that. And that, I believe, unlocked so many other things.
Lead with love.
And when you did that,
yes,
you started to discover, I'm sure, a lot more of your why and a lot more of the you that's in you. I mean, you hear him, folks. He's walking around while I just see this Fun with Dick and Jane scene where everybody's running around and they're trying to collect their files and everything's going crazy. And you're walking around being like, I know it's crazy out there, but you're not the one that sucks. And trying to encourage people during this mayhem moment.
Yeah.
You're still doing that. And that turning into the business where when you have a bad day in business, because I'm sure we all do.
Oh, I still have them. Yeah.
But you don't have that, man, I don't have the money for my ice cream bad day business anymore, right?
And whenever you start feeling that way, one last thing back to mentors. This past year, this is important.
Come on, bring it.
I hired this guy, Dr. Troy. He was a brain hacker. I don't know if you've heard of brain hacking, but I needed a next level. Like I felt like my business was growing. I was getting to a place that I hadn't ever been before. And I needed to grow and feel comfortable. And so long story short, this guy taught me your brain can only operate in one of two places. That's survival and or executive mode. Executive mode doesn't mean work. It just means you're alert, you're thinking, you're in the moment, you're making decisions, right? You're in control. And so you're either in executive mode or survival mode, and your brain can't operate in both simultaneously. It's literally one or the other. And most adults spend 70% of their life in survival. And I said to him, when I built my company, is it possible that I was in survival 95 to 99% of the time? Because I don't even know that I ever knew what executive mode looked like. I was always back against the wall from that $65 day. And I said, I think I operate better there. And he said something to me that was super profound. And this changed my life this past year, because it was right during that moment that we're talking about, the secondary kind of meltdown of the economy that we just went through. And he said, Troy, I know that you think you're better with your back against the wall because that's how you did it. But ask yourself this question. If you were in executive mode and you were literally thinking through things better, how much more could you have accomplished this past 10 years? And
I love that.
I'm not super religious, but I'm very spiritual. And I tell you guys that a lot. I'm not really Buddhist, but I believe in the Four Noble Truths of we all get old, we all get sick, we all die. And that's suffering. And then suffering, we place a lot of suffering on ourselves that it doesn't matter. Like the cars, the houses, the this, the that, the Joneses, like none of that shit really matters. But a lot of people place a lot of more external suffering on themselves because they think that stuff matters. They cling and they crave to it. And so anyways, when he taught me this, one of the things that really unlocked a lot of potential for me was whenever I get that way, and look, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but when you go into survival mode, what happens is your body shuts down, your digestive system shuts down, you get tunnel vision. So that's like when a sports guy gets the nervous poops. Oh, I gotta poop. I'm nervous. That's survival mode in action, and you get tunnel vision. You can only see this. You don't really, again, no executive mode. You can't really see what's going on around you. And so here's a little something for anybody listening. If you go into a mode during the day or whatever, where you feel like, man, I'm not in control, I'm worried about this might happen, I might lose a client, I might, whatever that could be that's causing you to be in that mode. He taught me this crazy little thing. He said, Troy, just tell yourself you're not being killed at the moment. Like there's no bear about to eat you. There's no alligator coming at you. Nobody pointing a gun at your head. Like you have so I live my life right now in a really cool way that I never did before. And that is, no matter what happens to me today, I'll have shelter, I'll have food, I'll have love, and that's all I need. And so all the money becomes a game, right? And now it's like playing a video game. It doesn't matter. You could lose it all. You're like, whatever, I still have life. Think about this.
We know you're enjoying the show so far. We just wanted to quickly remind you about our partners at
Fixed Ops Digital
and how they are automotive's premier service marketing and technology company.
Not only proud sponsors of the Car Guy Coffee podcast, but they also serve as your dedicated point of contact for all your online service marketing related needs.
Servicing dealerships throughout the U.S. and Canada, the mission is to create a better online experience for your service customers while using data intelligence to drive more fixed operations revenue.
If you want to take your service marketing efforts to the next level, go to fixedopsdigital.com.
Back to the show.
Let's go.
You put quarters in a video game, and this is pretty philosophical, might lose some people here, but if you put quarters in a video game, what's a kid really care about? He doesn't care about whether or not he racks up points. He cares about whether or not he can keep playing and he doesn't die,
Yeah.
Come on.
Life is exactly the same way. And that's what this guy taught me was just keep playing. As long as you're not being killed and the game's not over, just keep playing and don't worry about it because nobody's got a gun to your head.
It's like the old video game Super Contra where you can put in the code and you had eternal, you could just keep moving and keep going.
Well, that's what he unlocked with me. He unlocked with me like every time that you feel even a stomachache coming on, that nervousness, let that be a trigger that you're not in executive mode, you're in survival mode, and I'll teach you how to. That's the brain hacking.
I love that. That is genius.
A lot of money to learn it. But look, just whenever you feel that way, I'm not being killed, and get back into executive mode, get back into a place where you're operating at a higher level, and your day is just going to be better.
Right. That is great advice. And I'm glad that you shared that with our audience, man. And that's needed. Folks, listen to that. When you get to that moment, you're not going to die. It's just like you said, you're in survival mode. So your body gets that chemical reaction, right?
It does.
Flip your brain. Your brain is so powerful. The power of your thoughts, the power of what you think is so powerful. So understand that's what you need to flip the brain to. You're not going to die. Everything's going to be all right. It's okay to make mistakes too. It's okay to do something and realize, oh, I did it the wrong way. Whatever, you're still alive. You still get to live. You still get to go home, have shelter, food, love. Those are the things we really want. Yeah, we want recognition. We want to win. We want to do all these things. We're natural that way. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you're going to go home and you're going to be comfortable. So don't get so nervous about things. Don't allow that to overcome you so much that you cannot perform what you want to do, what in your heart was the right thing to do. So do those things and listen to what Troy, Mr. Turbo, is saying, man. I'm excited about that. And that leads to my fifth question, man. And I'm excited about this question because I got to think you can have a great answer for it. We all go through these things. We've talked about your why. We've talked about what got you in this business, 18 years old, need to pay your dad back. But it was a blessing for you. You found your calling. And then you went into your mentors, and you've had some great mentors throughout the years, man. You talked about a lot of people, but you really picked out Mitch Cook, Joe Balby. And of course, you just talked about Dr. Troy. And I think that's great that you went through all those things. And of course, we just talked about greatest lesson learned. And we can keep digging into this. This is an amazing thing. And I'm so glad. As crazy as this sounds, I'm so glad you had $65 to your name that day because you would not be where you're at today. And who knows, we probably won't even know each other and we wouldn't be able to share your story with so many people. But here's the other side. Out of all those things, there's been a great reward for all that. What has been your greatest reward for everything that you've done up to this point?
I feel like I figured out early enough in life that legacy matters.
Oh, yes.
And that I'm not going to have regrets at the end of this journey. And because of the 100-year birthday party and the way I think, I believe that you move in the direction of your currently dominant thought, no matter what. Like guy driving down the road sees a billboard for bankruptcy and he's got a couple bill problems. His body moves in that direction because it's his currently dominant thought. Yeah. I feel like somebody who is having a little bit of trouble at home all of a sudden sees somebody else that they think is a little attractive or something, and they move in the direction of the currently dominant thought. Next year, all hell breaks loose at the home front. Like I'm a really big fan of my favorite quote, and this will get to your answer here, is if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life in which they have imagined, they will meet with success unexpected in common hours. It is a Henry David Thoreau quote. It's been my favorite for 30 years. And I think I figured out early enough in life to advance confidently in the direction of my dreams. I think that I've figured out that legacy matters because I don't. The greatest reward is that I feel like I'm going to leave something behind for my kids and everybody who I touch. And it might sound pretentious. It might sound egotistical. But it's not.
Not at all.
I feel like that's what I'm here for. I just feel like I figured that out. That is the reward that I got, that I figured out early enough in life that it's not about me. It's about everybody else that I can touch. It's about the clients that we help. We teach our salespeople. This flows through our company, right? Which is we don't sell anything. We find people that need help and we help them. That's how we grew our business.
I love you, Troy. Money.
We don't sell anything. If you don't need our help, then I'm not selling you shit. Like, but if this business needs help and I'm smart enough to help you and my experience can help you, then I want to do business with you so that I can help you. I can change that dealer's life. Look, we've had dealers, I'll never mention names, but we've had dealers. I've sat at a guy's lake house and he said, look, if what you're doing for me doesn't work, I'm going to have to sell the lake house. And I looked at him and part of my language said, you're not going to have to sell the fucking lake house.
Yeah.
Like I'm good enough at what I do. We're saving the lake house, pal.
There
Like,
you go. I love that.
I feel like those are the moments in life that really, really, truly matter. And like I said, the reward for me is I figured that out early enough in life, and it gives me the purpose. My favorite word in the English language is purpose. You met McKenna, and we just mentioned Cassidy, my two daughters. If you ask them what my favorite word in the English language is, they'll both tell you purpose. Because I really feel, especially in a young girl's life, as they're growing up and figuring out who they are and where they're going in life, that if they don't have a direction, if they don't have a true north, if they don't have purpose, that it's really easy to get lost.
Quick question. Do you know what Smart Pixel 2.0, Location IQ, and Audience IQ have in common?
You know I do. They are solutions that our friends and proud sponsors, M1 Data and Analytics, are brewing for automotive and beyond.
Once again, you're right, my friend. And we want to invite all of our audience to go to m1-data.com to see how they can help propel your business forward with the right data insight.
Go check them out at m1-data.com.
Let's brew.
Come on now. Back to the show.
So again, greatest reward for me is that I figured out my purpose. I figured out what I want to do in life. I figured out how I want to leave it someday. And I'm enjoying the heck out of the ride.
Brother. Boom, right? And that is so money. And I love that you have purpose in it. You're putting that, instilling that into your company, your family. And you have your family involved. You got both your daughters in there. You got one working for the Dealer Funnel and the other one working for Dealer World. And McKenna, I've had the blessing to meet her, and what a soul she has. McKenna, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, hopefully she's listening. Well, if not, she will later. So
yeah,
she loves you guys, man. You guys are literally like rock star celebrities to her. So that's very cool.
We appreciate her.
I think you're not anyways, but you know what I mean? Like to her, like it's really it's a thing.
Well, we love her, and she's a special soul too. And she really cares about you, I could tell. And she definitely cares about what your purpose is. And she's
I've been very lucky that they've listened. You know,
like well, look at her. She went
off. That they've caught on and said, "Hey, I think Dad's got something to teach me."
Yeah, I think so. And she's really doing some amazing things. Like she recently moved to San Antonio, and man, what a beautiful town. We had the joy to be there for the NIADA, and man, that was a great little town for us to be in. I went to basic training there. It's been a long time, but I really enjoyed San Antonio this time around with my brother Lou and with everybody else we were there with. And man, it's a beautiful town, great food town, great weather. So you can't really go wrong down that way. I'm excited for her future and excited for her and you working together. That's amazing that you could pass that legacy of growth through her. Man, brother, you're an amazing person, man. And we're so fortunate to have you in our lives. And I look forward to building more relationship with you and seeing how far we can all go. Another 10 years from now, brother, it's going to be an amazing picture of what happens. So this automotive industry is having a big pivot, and there's a lot of changes going on right now. And I think that you definitely are on the pulse of all that, and you know what's happening. And we're excited to be sharing that with you and to see where we all grow together. This is what it's about.
You know what
it's love.
Can I interrupt you? You know what I love?
Please.
I love that you guys are the Car Guy Coffee Podcast, and we're all car guys, and we hardly talked about it. What I do for a living and what Dealer World does and Dealer Funnel does, almost every interview I'm on has got to do with automotive advertising and this, that, the other thing. And this was a really special interview for me because you took it down the path of things I'm truly passionate about, life and the why and what we're doing. So just, guys, kudos to you for things a little bit of a left turn from the average interview. I really appreciate that. That's cool.
Because we believe in that.
We value the people over valuing the company, right? There's a lot that goes into the logos, the looks, the processes, the way that we do business, right? And we can talk about business. That's the thing about this. The authority that we have in the industry is really only based off of who it is that we know really anyway, and who honors us anyway, and who honors you. Folks, know that the people behind the brands are the most valuable thing. The people in the business that you're working in, that is the most valuable. And the reason why this show is designed the way that it is to get you connected and learning about the people behind the brands you see. And Troy, we honor and love the example that you are to the industry. And we definitely want to make sure that we catch a follow-up with you where we can talk way more about the things that are happening with your brand. But
listen, don't even care. This was so cool. I mean, I appreciate it. I would not say no, but I think this was really cool. It's a nice departure to be able to stop talking about, what it is that I do. And this is another one, right? So there's what you do and who you are.
Yes.
This interview wasn't about what I do. It was about who I am. And that was pretty cool.
But that's what you do
right.
also. And that's the craziest thing. It is who you are. And that's what we're about. And that's what your company is based off of. And that's why I love about it. So when people see this, they're not just thinking, oh man, there's no doubt you know what you're doing when it comes to your business. There's no doubt that you're out there helping dealers grow. You don't even have to name any names. It's just, we know this based off of what you are about, your why, the purpose, your mentors, the greatest lesson that you've learned, and of course your reward. These things really bring it out of you. And we see that drive inside you. All it does is just make us love you more, because that's what it's about. I believe, and I know that my audience fell in love with you that same way. But most of my audience already knows who Mr. Turbo is. Come on,
they know us, they know Troy.
We talked about you before, and we love what you do. We've had the honor, and you blessed us by having us come out for the Unfair Advantage. I love that, and that was so much fun to be there and be part of that, and getting there and actually getting to meet you for the first time in person, and just sitting there and just jiving. And it was even more special than I thought it was going to be. And we just look forward to all the other ones, folks. There's one coming up in Kansas City coming up next year. We will be there. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a great event. Do not miss this event with Troy. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got Troy, you got Tracy Meyer, you got so many special guests.
Yeah, that one's going to be a lot pop too. That's going to be Kansas City.
Come on, Jason Rice, amazing. I love some Jason Rice. Fantastic.
Jason Rice.
Another one of those people out there that I absolutely love. We need to get on a show soon.
He's awesome, man. Yeah, you got to have. He's super cool.
We plan on it, but we definitely wanted to get you on here, Troy, because we love you, man. I really,
back at you guys. Like I said,
I'm glad we had you on.
Genuinely think you guys have a cool thing going on, and just the vibe and the energy is something I wanted to be around. I appreciate you guys and what you're doing, and thanks for all of that.
Thank you. We appreciate that. But we do want to do this, is let people know how to get a hold of you and your business. Yes. Now that they know how incredible of a person you are, now they just need to know how to get a hold of you. So tell them.
Well, it's right there. It's on screen. Bam. There you go.
That's it. Send him an email, folks. He will reach back out to you. He is all about helping out. If you just need a mentor and you're real and you're somebody that's really wanting to grow, reach out to him. You can reach out to us if you want to go. So you think Troy? I'll talk to you about Troy. Troy is cool. Troy is one of those ones in this automotive that cares about automotive, folks. We've heard the story. We know what's going on. He's been through it. He's been doing it a long time, folks. He's seen it all in the automotive industry, except for the Model T. He wasn't selling cars back then.
He's not quite that.
We're talking about modern car sales, folks, and he's all about that. And I'm so glad that we've had the joy to have you on the show today, that we have a friendship with you, and we look forward to building this relationship even more. Folks,
we need to let you know one thing about Troy.
You know the deal. He's 100% CGC approved. That is our man right there. We're so excited.
I love it, man. Thank you.
Here. Thank you for being here, brother. Folks, for all you all out there, if you guys want to get a hold of him, once again, there's his email address right there. Reach out to him. If you're a business that's looking to grow a little bit, reach out to him.
There's that music.
Troy, we love you. Thank you for being here. Everybody,
guys, thank you. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you so much.
Back at you.
Yes. I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And we have been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with the one,
the only, Troy Springs.
Do the thing.
Charge your light on, friends. You guys go out there. Go get his book. He's getting ready to Forgive, Focus, and Fly. That's right. And folks, he's got a book coming out. Stay tuned for that. We'll be announcing that for him. Soon as it's released, I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to be one of the first ones to read it. I cannot wait. Brother, God bless you. Blessings to you. Love and everybody, to you and your family and everyone else. Everyone, hello and goodbye.